Hey, welcome to another Excel VBA automation, and today again we will be focused on web data table scraping using VBA. So in this example, we will try to extract this data table and send to our workbook. So let's start. Let me start with renaming my workbook worksheet here to financial futures, which is the page title name. And open the VBA editor. Shortcut key is Alt F11, and then we'll start with inserting new module. And here at Tools, click Reference and make sure to add the Microsoft HTML Object Library and Microsoft Internet Controls. And press OK. So here let me rename this module first, Web Scraping, and let's create a procedure in here. Let's call it subget table. Alright, so here in my Google Chrome, I will inspect this table element. And alright, so this is the table HTML source code. So we can see here that the table has an ID. So uh, I hope that we can capture it easily since we have an ID attribute in this table element. So let's me start with the uh, VBA code again. So we'll start with declaring an IE as object, and then we also need to have a variable for URL, and then let me copy this URL and then assign that to our URL. Now set I is equals to create object Internet Explorer that application, and make sure to set the I that visible property to true, so you can see the when the web page is open, and then I that navigate to our URL. And then we need to wait for the web page to completely load before we do the next action. So to do that, we'll put do while I.busy is equals to true, or do while I.busy, and do events and loop, and another one do until I.ready state is equals to 4, or ready state complete, do events and loop. Alright, and then so we'll be using option explicit in this example to make sure that we will declare all variable prior we use it. So let's declare a table element, HTML table, and then let's set the table is equals to I that document that get element by ID. What's the ID in here? Let's copy that and paste in here. Right. So let me check if we are getting the correct table by using debug.print um, table.inner text. So let's see on our immediate window if we can print that. And here we were able to print something. So I think the first words are referring to the header of the table. So the first value US30Y, yeah, we were getting the correct table data. So from there, we are now ready to send that data table to our worksheet. So let's say that we'll put the table starting from row number 1, column A. So we need to have two variables that will represent our worksheet row and one per worksheet column. So let's say dim row counter as integer and dim column counter as integer. Then by default, row counter should be equals to 1 and column counter should be equals to 1. And now let's declare the table elements. So we have one for TR, which is a HTML table row. and TD as HTML table cell. Okay, Sam. Let me just inspect it again. We do not have a TH. Everything is under TD. Wait, we have a TR. Oh, we have a TH in here, so we should be able to capture it as well. Let me check if there's a TH element. Table. Oh, header. No, there's not. Table caption cell column. What is table header? I don't know what's the correct object data type for header. So let me not put anything on its variable type. Now let's loop through the table. Let's start with the tr element in table that get elements by tag name tr next tr, and then we'll loop through all the td for each td in tr that get. No, I'm sorry. We need to start with the table header. But before we end the loop, or before we end each loop, we need to increment our row counter to be equal to row counter plus 1. Then we need to first loop with the table header. So for each th in tr that get elements by tag name th next th, and let's say, oops, I forgot to declare my worksheet. So here, let's say dim my worksheet, set my sh is equals to this workbook the sheets, the name of our worksheet. So let me check. It's financial future, right? So let's say here my sh that sells row counter and column counter, that value is equals to th that inner text, and make sure to increment the call counter to make sure that the next inner text will go on the next column cell. And now we need to loop through table cells. So for each td in tr that get elements by tag name td next td, so my sh that sells row counter call counter, that value is equals to td that inner text. That should be inner text. And again, increment the column counter and make sure to always reset the value of column counter to 1. So after the next line, it will go back again to column A. Alright, so I think this is all what we need to script that table. So let's test it. Let me close this file first and run this. And yeah, it's done. So let's check. Let me validate if that's the same with what we have in this or in here. Let me close this. Yeah, it's almost the same. So that's how easily you can scrape table like this. All right, is there other? Okay, I think we can also try the next table. Let me just inspect this table element, and You can see in here that this table also has an ID. Let's just copy that. And here on our code, we just need to replace the ID that we use, which is this. And then let me try to remove this first. And let's try this one. Let me close this IE first. And let's try. Again, it's capturing data, but is it the same with what we have on this table? On table number 2, it's T-band, ultra T-band. Yes, it's just the same. Okay, I think that you were able to learn how to scrape web data table elements.